Let's start with the very first building block, stress. Stress simply means the internal resistance a material develops when an external force is applied. Whenever a force acts on a tooth, a wire, a crown, or a clasp, the material pushes back. That internal pushback is called stress. The formula is the simplest one in the whole chapter, where the stress is nothing but force per area. And this tiny formula is the beginning of everything. Let's begin with the easiest one, tension. Now, in this figure, you see a wire hanging from the ceiling with a 20 kg weight attached to it. This weight is pulling the wire downward. The ceiling pulls upward with an equal and opposite force. So the wire is experiencing tensile stress, the stress generated when a material is pulled apart. The clinical examples are stretching an orthodontic wire, separating a tooth using orthodontic elastic, a pontic bending in tension on the gingival side, rubber dam sheets being stretched during isolation. Whenever something is being pulled, think tensile stress. Now look at this figure. Here's a block that sits on a vertical post. The weight pushes down and the post resists by pushing up. This produces compressive stress, stress generated when a material is being pushed together. You encounter compressive stress constantly. Biting forces on posterior teeth, composite restoration under occlusal load, impression material during tray seating, dentine under a full coverage crown. Even your molars handling 300 to 800 newtons of masticatory load are essentially little compression machines. Now let's move to the interesting one, shear stress. Shear happens when two forces act in opposite direction but not along the same line. This creates a sliding motion. Imagine a bar fixed at one end and a force pushes down at the free end. The bar tries to shear. Orthodontic brackets being twisted off a tooth. Debonding is a shear failure. Resin cement beneath a crown experiencing horizontal loading during chewing. Shear stress is extremely important in adhesive dentistry because many failures occur by shear debonding. When shear is applied at a distance, we create a moment or torque. A simple example, when you twist an orthodontic bracket using the pliers, you aren't just pulling or pushing, you are applying torque. Longer the pliers used, it creates more torque, leading to easier debonding. This is why moment is force into distance. Now, real dental restorations rarely experience a single type of stress. They experience combined stresses. Look at the 3-unit FPD. When a patient chews, the pontic bends slightly. The occlusal side is under compression and the gingival side is under tension. The connector areas concentrate stress due to smaller cross-sectional area. This is why connector thickness is very crucial. Too small connector thickness, stress shoots up, fracture risk increases dramatically. Similarly, in a cantilever bridge, the free end bends down, occlusal surface becomes tensile, and the tissue surface becomes compressive. The abutment tooth experiences a moment that can debond the crown. Whether a restoration is metal, ceramic, or composite, combined stresses are always present. Now, here's something to think about. When you bite into a hard biscuit, which stresses do you think your enamel experiences? And which stresses act on the dentine underneath? Just hold that thought. The answer becomes clear once we discuss strain. We have discussed stress, the reaction within a material. But how does the material respond? Does it stretch? Does it compress, bend, stay the same, or change the shape permanently? That response is called strain. And that's what we explore next. Strain is simply change in length plus divided by the original length. It is a ratio, not a unit. So it's expressed as mm by percentage, or it's unitless. Let's go back to the wire in the figure. When you hang a 20 kg weight, the wire stretches a little. If it returns to its original length after removing the load, that change was elastic strain. Elastic strain means temporary, fully recoverable, no permanent change. Think of a rubber band stretched lightly, an orthodontic wire bent during initial alignment, a clasp arm flexing over the height of contour. As long as the force is within the elastic range, the material returns to its original shape. But if you increase the load on the wire and after unloading the wire becomes, say, 100 millimeter to 100.2 mm, it has not fully returned. This permanent extension is called plastic strain. Plastic strain means it's permanent, non recoverable, the material has yielded. This is what happens when a clasp loses its grip and when a composite deforms under too much occlusal pressure, or a orthodontic bracket wire bends permanently, or a metal margin stays flared after burnishing.